My name is Elias. I am 26 years old, and for most of my life, I believed emotions only made people weak. I grew up in a cold little town, surrounded by endless fields and empty roads. Winters were long there. The wind sounded like whispers at night, and the silence inside our house felt heavier than the snow outside. It was only me and my older brother, Daniel. Our mother died when I was a child. I barely remembered her voice. After that, my father changed. He stopped smiling. He stopped talking unless it was necessary. He worked in a factory during the day and spent his nights sitting alone in the dark kitchen, smoking cigarettes beside the window. Daniel became the only warm thing left in my life. He was different from me, loud, friendly, alive. He talked to everyone. He laughed easily. People loved him wherever he went. I never understood how he did it. "You think too much," he always told me, "and you trust people too easily," I answered. Maybe we were both right. When I was 16, Daniel left town to study in the city. Before leaving, he hugged me tightly and said, "Don't become like Dad." But I already was. After he left, the house became even quieter. My father and I barely spoke. Some nights we ate dinner without saying a single word. I stopped caring about people. At school, I kept my distance. I avoided friendships because I believed everyone eventually disappeared. Some classmates tried talking to me, but I answered with short, cold replies until they gave up. It felt safer that way. Years passed. My father grew older and weaker. Eventually, the factory closed, so I found work repairing clocks in an old repair shop downtown. It was small, dusty, and forgotten by most people. I liked it. Broken clocks made sense to me. Humans did not. Every morning I unlocked the shop, cleaned the counters, and spent hours fixing tiny gears and frozen hands while the sound of rain or traffic echoed outside. Life moved slowly, and then she arrived. It happened on a gray afternoon in late autumn. The shop bell rang softly, and a woman stepped inside carrying an old pocket watch in her hands. She wore a long, dark coat, and strands of wet hair clung to her face from the rain outside. "This stopped working," she said gently. I took the watch without looking directly at her. "Come back tomorrow." Most customers left after that. She didn't. Instead, she looked around the shop curiously. "You repair all these clocks alone?" "Yes." "That sounds lonely." I frowned slightly. "It's peaceful." She smiled, as if she understood something I didn't. Before leaving, she said, "See you tomorrow then." I expected never to see her again. But the next day, she returned. And the day after that, too. At first, she only came for the pocket watch. Then, she started bringing small excuses. A loose bracelet, a broken music box, an old wall clock from her apart. Eventually, I realized some of the things weren't even broken. One evening, I finally asked, "Why do you keep coming here?" She looked surprised by the question. "Because I like this place," she answered. "There's nothing special here." "I think there is." I didn't know how to respond to that. Her name was Claire. Unlike other people, she never forced conversations. Sometimes she sat quietly near the window while I worked. Sometimes she talked about random things, books she loved, places she wanted to visit, strange dreams she remembered after waking up. And somehow, I listened. For the first time in years, silence around another person didn't feel uncomfortable. Winter arrived slowly. The streets filled with fog in the mornings, and warm yellow lights glowed from apartment windows at night. Claire became part of my routine. She brought tea to the shop when the weather was cold. She laughed whenever I forgot to eat lunch because I was too focused on work. "You'd survive on air if nobody reminded you," she once joked. I almost smiled, almost. One snowy evening, the electricity went out across town. The repair shop became dark, except for candlelight. Claire sat across from me, while snow fell softly outside the windows. "Can I ask you something?" she said quietly. I nodded. "Why do you keep your distance from everyone?" The question stayed between us. I stared at the candle flame before answering. "Because people leave." She watched me carefully. "Not everyone. They always do, eventually." For a moment she looked sad. Then she whispered, "Maybe some people stay longer than you expect." That night her words followed me home. Days turned into weeks. Without realizing it, I started waiting for her. I noticed the sound of her footsteps outside the shop before she opened the door. I noticed when she tied her hair differently. I noticed when she looked tired, even though she claimed she was fine. Feelings I had buried for years slowly woke inside me, and it terrified me, because caring about someone meant giving them the power to hurt you. One afternoon, she didn't come. I told myself it didn't matter, but I kept glancing at the door every few minutes. The next day, she was absent again. The shop suddenly felt too quiet. By evening, I couldn't focus anymore, so I closed early and walked through the snowy streets toward her apartment building. But when I arrived, the lights inside were off. An old woman from downstairs noticed me waiting outside. "You're looking for Claire?" she asked. I nodded. "She left this morning." My chest tightened. "Left?" She moved away suddenly. Family emergency, I think. The world around me felt strangely distant. Before I could leave, the woman handed me a small envelope. "She asked me to give you this if you came." My hands shook slightly as I opened it. Inside was a simple note. "Elias, you once told me people always leave. Maybe you were right. But meeting you was my favorite part of this town. Thank you for finally opening your heart, even a little. Claire." I stood there in silence while snow fell around me. For years I had protected myself from pain by refusing to care. But now the emptiness inside me felt deeper than ever before, because Claire had changed something. She made me realize loneliness was not peace, it was absence. And once someone teaches your heart how to feel alive again, silence no longer feels safe.